welcome back. We'll be taking a look at our newspapers and trying to do a review the best that we can. I'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. Opposition splits over single candidates to challenge Tinubu. Federal government budgets 1 trillion for empowerment, SUVs amid rising borrowing pressure. Now let's look at the riders for that story. Allocation exceeds combined budgets of 7 key federal ministries rather. Only 70 of 2,579 empowerment projects have identified locations. This is coming from Tracker. And finally, economists question spending priorities and demand accountability. Okay, we have not just started to demand accountability. So if anybody is demanding accountability, we have always been demanding not just accountability, but also transparency. The rate at which this government just dips their hand at will, comes up with something so strange and puts their hands in the coffers, takes, taxpayers' money and decides to spend on whatever it is that, that somebody just goes to sleep and wakes up and says, this is what we need to do next. And it is done because the money is available. But don't forget that this is the same country that goes a borrowing. Now, when we were kids, they used to say, he who goes a borrowing goes a sorrowing. I don't know if that still stands, but I'm just actually keeping my fingers crossed that Nigeria does not go a sorrowing. Okay, I don't know what you can make of this. I really can't make too much of it. All I can do is criticize. And in my criticism, it will be constructive, but it will be very tough. But let me hear from you first before I air my views.
We're in a bad place.
Very bad
Leadership-wise, we're in a very bad place. And no matter how hardworking you think you are as a leader, if you are not accountable to the people, you've lost the essence of where you are holding in the first place. Because being in the public office, you are holding that position in public trust. Not that you are the most qualified, not that you have the biggest connection, not that you are the smartest, or not like you have the best CV. Chance, time, fate, destiny, however way you got there. Now, when I say time, chance, fate, destiny, we've had people that got into political offices by the virtue of their name. Good luck, Jonathan. Go and look at his political journey. Up until he became the president of this country,
it was only
the 2011 election, that he went into as a battle. In fact, maybe 2015, and he lost it. Because 2011 was served for him on a platter. Probably because his boss died, he got into office.
Just
lucky,
transited.
Ayedatiwa, lucky. His principal, the governor, died. He took over, completed that joint ticket tenure, contested the election, and won. So, we've seen people in that space. That's why I said fate, destiny, here. So, the fact that we have public office holders that thinks each time you demand for accountability, it's a witch hunting. That alone should tell you the mindset of our politicians. You know what I always tell people? If you are holding public office, you shouldn't even wait for people to ask you for account of stewardship. It should be something you are willingly, in fact, it should be something you are looking forward to. That every December, I want to tell the people how I spent their money.
Or better still, every quarter.
Every quarter, so that the load will not be too much. That's if you have anything to show now. Some people will leave it for the whole year because you cannot be repeating when there's nothing.
I got you.
You understand? The conversation around the 2025 and 2026 budgets has opened cans of worms that we probably never thought existed. When one of the ranking senators from Bauchi State, Senator Ningi, when he raised allegation in the last assembly that there are issues around budget padding, they suspended him. Because the man knows that you submitted a budget of 64.7 trillion. Where are we seeing 69.2 trillion? The budget that the House Committee, the several committees at the appropriation level sat on.
Saturn.
This was the figure. Excuse me. Why are you doing this? Even if you want to do supplementary budget, it must still be presented to the floor of the National Assembly. So when you look at a situation where the federal government is spending more than 7 ministries combined
The money that will be allocated.
for empowerment and SUVs.
SUVs.
You know what I always ask? When you say you are changing the convoy or the fleet of cars, those old ones,
What happens to them?
What happens to them? Because those vehicles are never old. They are never old because they are barely ever used.
So are they sold? How much do they recover from those vehicles? If they are not sold, who are they given to?
If you bring in lawmakers, senators, reps, some of them 180 million, 120 million.
Why can't they even continue to
those
use
vehicles
those
are supposed
vehicles?
to be operational vehicles.
Exactly.
If you finish your tenure of 4 years or 8 years, you're supposed to drop those
Drop the
cars.
vehicles.
Because you collected your allowance. You're supposed to drop those cars, or at the most, they monetize it. Then you pay the current market value of that car, and then you go with it. I told you, at different times, I've been caught up in convoys of public office holders. Even the convoy of a minister, too. The convoy of a governor.
The convoy of the
The
president.
convoy of Mr. President.
I remember that was just a couple of
42
months ago.
SUVs. I didn't count the coastal bus. I didn't count the other operational bus. I didn't count the police. The SUVs on that convoy was 42. And then you're always wondering, if the president says he picks up pages of the newspaper every day and he reads them, do you understand? So I'm trying to understand, is it the same newspaper that Punch is saying that the federal government is spending more than 7 ministries combined?
And okay, don't forget
Will the president see that headline?
convoy that you're speaking about. Those 42 cars have to be fueled.
Constantly.
The people that are driving
They will be paid.
They will be paid.
And there's nobody in
Not their salaries, allowances.
So most of them, it is only the driver that is inside those SUVs. Do you understand? So if you say only 70 of 2,579 empowerment projects have identified locations.
So where are the others going to hold? No location. So what happens to the money that has been raised?
70 out of 2,579. That means that about 2,509 that you cannot identify where the locations of those projects are. 2,509.
And at the end of the day, you'll find out that they will never hold, and those monies will just fizzle out.
Fizzling out is not even the problem, Tom. They will still reflect in the next appropriation bill.
Exactly.
And allocation will still be made for those monies. Do you understand? So if the government is saying that Nigerians tighten your belts, so I'm a bit confused. Maybe because they don't wear belts. Some of them wear baba kaftan. So it's band or rope. Do you understand? So maybe they live in a separate world. Because make it make sense to me, too. Why the federal government budgets 1 trillion for empowerment? Do you understand? It is because these reckless spendings are not checked.
Well, excuse me. Let's even look at the word empowerment now. Now, what is the criteria for those who will benefit from the empowerment program? Who are the people? Are they zoning these things? I don't understand. How you said I should make it make sense. I can't make it make sense. Because I don't even understand it.
Nigeria runs one of the most expensive NSIPs in the world. Do you understand? We have a social investment scheme. Do you understand? Our social intervention scheme. Do you understand? That we don't have data to back up. So you say you are doing anchor borrowers. You are doing conditional cash transfer. You are doing homeschool feeding program. You are doing Empower. You are doing poorest of the poor. Do you understand? Do you have data to back these things up? When you go to borrow money, and instead of you to invest in enterprises that will help you repay those loans, you borrow money to share and feed. So where would you get money to pay back those loans? Do you know there was a time in this country too, where over 90% of our revenues were using it to service debt in this country? Just a few years ago.
Of course. Of course,
Just a few years ago.
Of
So
course,
when
I
you go
know.
to borrow money and then you line people down, now see, election is here. This one is not a Emefiele's election. It's not Buhari's election. This is a proper capitalist election where money go be like water. Fact. Do you understand? This time, 2023, we didn't know what was coming with the new Naira. No, we didn't know what Nigerians would go through build up to that election. Do you understand? But this one we know. You know that there will be money in circulation for this election. It's so unfortunate that we run a scheme where you cannot back up those data. So you literally just throw money at people. When you empower someone, when you give someone a loan, you're supposed to set up a mechanism that will monitor the progress of that loan. Some people will apply for loan. They'll use that loan to go and remarry. They will apply for loan. They'll use those monies to go and do something else. But they won't pay back because you don't have database. So it is 20 years that will last the national census in this country. So we are making plans and projections based on assumption. Oh, in 2006, Lagos was 11 million. Kano was 13 million. Give and take by now, Lagos should be. Kano should be. Ekiti should be. Akwa Ibom should be. There's no independent database that can be as accurate as the government. Let UN, let UNESCO, let anybody run database in this country. You can never capture what the federal government will capture via census.
Okay, I am highly disgusted.
It's disappointing.
I am highly
1
disgusted.
trillion. That is
1
7
trillion
ministries
naira
combined.
for empowerment. What kind of empowerment? How interested is this government
They will
in
not
the
empower.
people in the first place?
They will not empower.
But they use
there's
the
flooding,
word
those guys
they use the word
those
empowerment
guys
so
used to
that they
see.
can siphon money from the coffers.
So those rice used to see. Where do you think it comes from? You think people dash the government? Maybe there was a rice pyramid that was commissioned towards the end of the administration of Buhari. That they went to put skeleton at the back. They now arrange empty bags of rice in front.
You know, let me tell you, if I was the international communities, I was the World Bank, I would not loan Nigeria any money.
No, you know how much those people are
I
making?
I know how much, but honestly, I know. Yeah, so they you know they are doing in their eyes they're doing business. But you see, honestly, at some point, you see, even banks within our local banks, you know, there is a limit to which they will be able to loan you
because
money.
they look at it and say,
Because
yes,
this money is not coming back.
you are
You
just
know,
doing collecting.
exactly. That's what you're doing, and then they'll put a stop to it. And honestly, I think that the World Bank should put a stop to the loans they are giving Nigeria because they know that Nigeria have the ability to generate revenue within them. Because this thing, the money is in excess.
So,
whether it is Nigeria,
if you if you have a customer that is giving you the best bargain, do you know the conditions we used to buy and apply for
I know
loans?
all of these are facts, okay?
You know the conditions we
But
used to
this
go and
is
apply for
me.
loans.
This is my recommendation because of the way that I'm feeling right now, okay? This is my recommendation that the World Bank should not loan Nigeria anymore.
They will. Because the
and I
interest
know-
they are getting on our loan, they cannot get it from
Okay,
any other country.
even before I said this, I know they would not stop because, and I said it clearly that they are in business. But okay, let me put it this way: I wish the World Bank would stop loaning Nigeria money because Nigeria seems to have too much money that they don't know what to do with it anymore. They don't realize that, you know, that there should be a scale of preference and they should start to tick that scale, you know, item by item, you know, off one after the other in order, you know, of the preference. But because there's so much money, you can now budget 1 trillion naira for empowerment. Excuse me, who are the people you are empowering?
Empowerment. See, you can't.
How many people have even benefited from government
You cannot throw
empowerment?
words around like this. Empowerment in what
And
space?
then you want to use out of the 1 trillion naira to buy SUVs?
Don't-
You know, amidst the pressure of borrowing in Nigeria.
When we question where the funding of Operation Safe Corridor was coming from, people said, why are we asking? Because I'm not sure that the Senate or the National Assembly of this country approved any budget for Operation Safe Corridor. Do you understand? So when you are running Operation Safe Corridor, the money is to maintain it. as politicized as it is, would have to come from somewhere too.
No, but the thing is that okay, we don't even need to stress ourselves about that because the money will come.
Yes.
And it is not whether we like it or not. We have nothing to do with it. The only thing is that they will take the monies from where they want to take it from the Commonwealth. And guess what? We'll just see the figures as we see. Okay, every day we read these figures. Every day we hear about these spendings. The best we can do is just sit on this table and, put it out there for people to know. But we cannot stop what is going on. And honestly, I think it's time for this government to do like a backtracking because it's actually getting too much. And you see, the people's back are almost up against the wall. Nigerians have woken up, they've smelled the coffee and they're wide awake. They've woken up from their slumber. Honestly, I want to believe, and I'm very hopeful, but if it doesn't go this way, the way of not taking rice and money, then it means that Nigerians are almost doomed. Because they will do the same thing and get the same result. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Now, the writer for this story tells us that allocation exceeds combined budgets of 7 key federal ministries. They didn't say federal 7 key ministries, 7 ministries. They said 7 key ministries, so that ministries where their spending or their budgets are, top notch. A combination of 7, this 1 trillion naira. I don't understand. And our leaders think they shouldn't be accountable to us.
1 trillion is a lot of money too, and that's a fact.
It's not a joke.
When you have the Minister of Finance and then the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Idele come to tell us that we are exaggerating the debts that we owe.
So
the Buhari administration left maybe a little over 80 trillion debts in 8 years. Then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in less than 4 years had doubled it. So I keep asking, if we are borrowing this much and we withdraw subsidy, we floated the naira, so what exactly are we using these monies for? There's a lot of questions that we need to ask.
And when you come out and refute a statement, then you have to put something that will substantiate.
So how much are we owing?
Exactly how much are we owing? Why are you not giving us the figure? And then when we get headlines like this on the newspaper, why are you not the ones coming to tell us that, it's not 1 trillion, it's X amount of money? So it is only when it is convenient and when it is time to cover up that you come out and make very flimsy, statements that, really cannot be backed up. We want to see empirical evidences here. We're intelligent people. We're not just the masses that you can take, that you think you can just use your hands and, push to one side. No, we know that our voices must be heard. This is our profession. And we're intelligent enough to see these things, and question them. And in questioning that, we know that, nobody will give us an answer now. But guess what? There will be a judgment at some point in time. So I think it's time for the Nigerian government to sit up.
Election is here. And I think the presidential election is just 173 days away. By 19th of August, the campaigns for presidency and National Assembly will kick off. So we've gotten to that point where we understand what is at stake. Monies have to come out from somewhere. It's quite unfortunate that we're sounding very political. It's quite unfortunate that we have a space where we don't just think it is important to give account to the people whose commonwealth we are spending. So you wake up every day, we approve the budget. Oh, there's budget, there's this one, there's that. Everybody will move on. So when you're looking at headlines like this, it questions a lot. If only 70 out of 2,579 empowerment projects have identified locations. So where are the other ones? Where are the 2,509? If only 70 out of 2,579. So that's why you will see Alamajiri saying that in their budget they want to commission road and electrification in Ekiti. It's a lot of problem. It's a whole lot of problem.
It's a whole lot of problem, okay? And I just think we should just, you put that on hold,
Or
for
maybe
the
it's just
moment.
rush
No,
through the remaining other stories. That we are done with Punch.
yeah, well, that's what I intended to do. But
Okay.
we have a guest on the program, and I
Okay, yes,
understand
that's true.
I understand that his time
Mm,
is limited.
mm.
So I think it's time for us. Let's just take this break. When we return, we will complete the Punch newspaper and move on to other newspapers. But right now, we will take a break on the program. We have a guest, and when he comes on set, we'll come back at you. Stay tuned.
Excuse me, ma. This
You're welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Express show. We have a guest on the program. I'd like to introduce Mr. Nelson Ekujumi. Of course, he's from the Rights and Good Governance what advocacy group. Okay, so I what a better guest to have when we're discussing the particular topic that we talked about. It's such a pleasure to have you here at this time on the program,
Thank you
sir.
very much for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning, sir. Okay, I think you should shoot first.
Wow, it's a big one. And then when I just flashed through the profile of the guest now, so I think it's a good timing. You're welcome. Good
Thank
to
you
have
very
you
much.
join us
Sir.
this morning. And election is very much is right here, 173 days now to the presidential and national assembly election, and 192 days to the governorship and House of Assembly elections, State House of Assembly, thank you. And according to the INEC guidelines, a campaign for the presidency and National Assembly starts on the 19th of August, that's less than a month away. And for the State House of Assembly and governorship, that will be in September, 4th of September. So we're counting days now, not months,
Sorry,
not years.
can I just correct something you said? That campaign will start on the
I
19th of
know,
August.
I said officially.
Officially,
Officially.
it should start on the 19th,
It
but we
should.
know that campaign has started like 2 years
Campaign never
prior
ends.
to now, which was unofficial and basically by the ruling party.
All right. So, what do you make of where we are right now in terms of going into an election that is not just about changing leadership, but looking back and saying, do we consolidate on what we have or take advantage of what the electoral cycle gives us, make changes? Where do you think the mind of an average Nigerian is at the moment towards the 2027 election?
Well, thank you very much. The role of the media, like we all know, is to educate, inform, entertain. And I'm sure the media has not been lacking in performing that responsibility. And it is that, like she said, we have seen posters everywhere. We have seen parties conduct their primaries. And we have seen that some parties are still grappling with the fallout of the primaries. I disagree that any party has started campaign, because when you start a campaign, it means you are gathering people in a place and enunciating your manifesto. And right now, where campaign is only happening now as we speak, is Osun State, where a governorship election is coming up on the 15th of August. So any other campaign, any other political activities that you have seen, are not campaigns but mere political activities. So looking at where we are today, yes, we have made giant strides. We have taken some bold decisions. When you look at what this government has done in consolidating on where its predecessor left, governance, you will recognize that the Nigerian people, if you really dissect the issues and you don't run with emotions, because a lot of times people tend to say, why is this way? Meanwhile, the genesis of why we got here didn't just happen today. It has been, it has been a journey. And where we are right now, for example, let us look at the issue of fuel subsidy that was a topical issue even before this government. A lot of Nigerians have come up to say, oh, the fuel subsidy is a scam. Some people are just fleecing in the Commonwealth. And the government of the day took that bold decision that
And took it.
Yes, and removed it. So today, the money that will have gone to the 3 tiers of government if not for the removal of subsidy, a lot of states by today
Will
will
be
be
in serious
relying
debt.
on
Borrowing.
handouts or borrowing from the federal government. You will recognize that in 2014, the Minister of Economy and coordinating Minister of the Finance, Minister of Finance,
And coordinating Minister
Minister
of
of
the
the Economy,
Economy.
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I remember vividly well in 2014, September to be precise. She came out publicly and said the federal government was borrowing to pay salaries and not running cost of government. And by 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari took over from President Goodluck Jonathan, over 20 states could not pay worker salaries. It took the intervention of President Muhammadu Buhari to be giving those states loans to pay salaries. And when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office, he removed subsidy. As we speak today, states are in stiff competition to outdo one another over payment of the minimum wage. So nobody is lacking. And let me give you an analysis of it. In 2019, when President Muhammadu Buhari signed the national minimum wage from 18,000 to 30,000, you remember that the Nigerian Governors Forum, they rejected that negotiation. They said they couldn't pay that salary. From 2019 to 2023, when President Muhammadu Buhari left office, late President Muhammadu Buhari left office, over close to 20 states could not pay the 30,000 minimum wage. But you can see that under this administration, when the minimum wage was increased from 30 to 70,000, you can see how some states are paying, like Imo State, is paying 104,000.
Yes.
I think Edo State is paying maybe 100,000. So the issue about states insolvency has become a thing of the past, because the allocation that comes from the sale of Nigerian products, maybe not all exports, oil exports. Today, the whole money is gathered at the Federal Allocation Account Committee and shared between the federal, state, and local governments. That is why in Nigeria today, you can see local governments in some states carrying out functions that ordinarily in some other states, state government could not do. In my local government, for example, I come from Agege, really Agege. My local government chairman installed about the previous one, not this one, because there was an election in 2025. The local government chairman installed over 2,500 solar power street lights.
That should be a government
project. That's a project that even state government will tell you they cannot fund it. So the choice is between the Nigerian people to look back at where we are coming from and see whether where we are going is where we should be going or not. But they must be, they must be dispassionate and not allow people to drink them based on sentiments. If you remember, I listened to the CBN governor, and the CBN governor said by the time this government came into office, what was in our foreign reserve was just about $3 billion. And we had a backlog of about 30 trillion naira, then $6 billion. And in the first year of this administration, if you remember, the president told the whole world that since his assumption into office in 2023, the government has been paying using 97% of our earnings
to service
debt.
Not to pay the debt.
Yes,
just to service the debt.
Now the government has been able to reduce it to about 60-something percent. So you can imagine if he had not taken those bold economic decisions, would have been bankrupt. There was no doubt about that. Because $3 billion cannot even pay for imports for a month. So when you look at all these factors that we need to put on the table and let the man at the bus stop understand and dissect it, that look, economics is not just about you planting cassava and harvesting cocoyam tomorrow. No, when you plant cassava today, you need time. You need to water it. You need to nurture it. You need to monitor it till harvest period. So that is where we are today.
Sir, the Nigerian man does not want to know all these, all these words, all this. For them, they can't understand. They can't even hear these things. a man who is hungry. Now, let's take our minds back to the Buhari days. When Buhari was leaving, he said Nigerians will they will ask for him. As we speak, the common man on the streets right now, who in the Buhari days could afford one meal and now cannot afford a meal, is not ready to listen to the English that Okwe and I are speaking.
Including myself.
No, you are a guest.
No, I'm speaking English as well now.
No. You are a guest. You are a guest. But Okwe and I sometimes, when we sit here and say, oh, the government has done this, government has done this, they're not listening to us. It is when we say the government has not done. Because, listen, sir, they say he who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. It is okay for you to come and tell us some of the achievements of the government. On this table, what we do is constructive criticism. We do proper analysis. Where we see the government has done well, we put it on the table for people to see. But when we feel that we should be saying something, for the Nigerian masses who do not have a voice, we say it as it is. Now, things have become exceedingly difficult, even more difficult than the Buhari administration. You are taking us to the fact that our problems in Nigeria did not only start now. Sir, that's 100% correct. I cannot fault that statement in any way. But the truth is, when we want to go into something and we know how enormous that thing is, do you understand? We have to look at it properly. And then when we're speaking and making promises to the people, we have to be careful, because the people are still going to hold us by our words. It's really important. They will, Nigerians, they will go and dig out anything and say, this is what you said. You saw this problem before you went into it. Nigerians are saying, make sure we are secure. That is the first responsibility of any leader, to take care, make sure that lives and property are secure. Nigerians are saying, give us power uninterrupted. If neighboring countries can have power uninterrupted, why can't we? Okay? Nigerians are saying, give us good health facilities. Even what we call the primary health care, whether it is funded by the local government, we are not satisfied. Sometimes we don't even have doctors. Nigerians are saying, give us good education. We also want food. We're not even trying, we're not specifying, we're not being specific, give us good food. No. We're saying, give us food. Ensure that at least we can have 2 meals in a day. That's what Nigerians want to hear. Now, let's put this on the one hand. And on the other hand, we look at the government that promised us renewed hope. People who voted this government, voted them because, listen, our president today, as you well know, was once the governor of Lagos State. Was he an achieving governor? 100%. He did so well. And some people who were not sure whether to vote for him went back to his track record and said, well, this is a man that, he did so much for Lagos State. And we're not looking at Nigeria and comparing it to Lagos State, but we're saying that he has some knowledge of leadership, not to talk about, his governorship, yeah, exactly. Do you understand? Because he was in the private sector, and he was not a novice in what he was doing. So Nigerians are saying, you promised us renewed hope. So when you say it's renewed, there was hope at some point in time, may have been 10, 15, 20 years. You are bringing back that hope to us. Right now, some Nigerians are saying we can't even see the hope, talk less of it being renewed. We are hopeless at the moment. That's my point right now.
Okay, I think you said the man at the bus stop does not want to hear. But you need to make him understand that, look, whether he wants to hear or not,
it must be said.
The reality must be stated clearly. It is not for you to deny the facts. And you talked about security. When you are talking about security, yes, don't forget, we have three tiers of government. We don't
True.
have only the federal government.
We've said it.
You are talking about the president fixing Nigeria. That is impossible. So what will be state governments that exist that have legal status under the constitution? What will they be doing? They should be speaking?
No.
Absolutely no. You're talking about security, infrastructure, food. That is the responsibility of any government, be you federal, state, and local government. And I'll give you an example. This today, you said things are tough. Yes, that is a fact. But it is also a fact that there has been no time that things have been rosy for everybody. While it is rosy for some it will be the other way. But the most important thing is that the people at the helm of affairs, are they living up to their responsibility? If, for example, the government recognizing the shift from fossil fuel to cleaner energy has brought in CNG, the question we should ask, like I know of CNG, I was part of the process. I know of CNG plants and other mechanisms. I've seen the involvement of a state like Lagos in making CNG available to the commuting to the community operators,
True.
commercial vehicle operators, even some private have also accessed it. The CNG today is sold at between 380 naira to 450 naira SCM. They call it SCM
Instead of liter.
You know. So the federal government has brought in this initiative to reduce the burden. The federal government has even gone ahead that every commercial vehicle will be converted from petrol to CNG at zero cost. Tell me, what are the states doing? The only state, like I said, I've seen involved itself is Lagos State. You have 36 states of the federation. They are not taking advantage of this opportunity to make things easier for the Nigerian people. The federal government has taken its own step. You talk about agriculture, you talk about food. I'm sure you know, and I know, that the federal government of Nigeria does not have land anywhere other than Abuja, FCT.
Sorry, can you permit us to take a call while you're here? Hello, good morning. Well, we lost it, but if another call comes, we'll take it.
Okay, so we have 36 states. The federal government has no land anywhere. The federal government has put in place agricultural programs and policies. And the only avenue for the federal government to implement it is through the states. The other time, I'm sure you saw the president commissioning some tractors, about 2,000 thereabouts. Those tractors will be given to states. The question we should be asking, what is the agricultural plan of our state government, of our local government? Because this is a country that some states and local governments are known for particular produce. I went to a place in Osun State. I've forgotten the name of the local government. It's, I think, behind Ede, if people from Osun State are watching us. I was told that local government is famous for cashew nuts. You go to a place like Ogbomoso, the Ilorin axis, they have particular products that they are known for. What is just like talking about Adire in Abeokuta. So what is the Ogun State government doing to enhance the business, the economy of that? Because when the government drives a policy, the government does not need to be a player there. They can provide the necessary incentive that will make people come in, people will come and invest. So what are the local government, what do they exist for? So a lot of times we make the mistake, Mr. President, if a man with his wife have problem at home, it's Mr. President. If Okada jams Keke Napep, Mr. President, you now ask yourself, is it only the federal government that we have? What are the state government doing? What are the local governments doing? When the federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed fuel subsidy and abrogated the dual exchange system, in my local government chairman gave 100,000 naira grants to about 1,000 traders. He even went ahead and copied what the state government was doing, the Onje Epo, if you remember, 25% off. My local government chairman made
Also
it
did the same.
did 50%. There was rice, beans, yam,
Gary.
gari, yes. He was giving it out at 50. You pay 50% of the cost. That is what we should be asking ourselves, that our other tiers of government, what are they doing?
Okay, so let me quickly interject at this point. Now that you've come on the breakfast show this morning, we expect that you become one of our ardent viewers. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because everything you're saying right now on this table, we say. In fact, on Thursday morning, okay, if you can remember, I said that I was charging you and I was charging myself with a responsibility to walk into every local government and go and demand of them what they have done, within their local government. So what you're saying, sir, because you've not watched this program, we say it every day that the federal government cannot be responsible 100%. The state governments, the local governments have a huge role to play. But having said that, I'm bringing to your knowledge, to your notice, most of the things that the common man on the road would say. You understand? They would talk about the federal government. First of all, Bola Tinubu is our leader. President Bola Tinubu is our leader. They will always make reference to him.
I agree.
And listen, everything we say on this table is rid of we're not vindictive people. We're not partisan in any way. We don't have nothing to gain. We only will state it as it is. So yes, we want a better Nigeria. So that's the angle we are coming from. So in saying all of what I said, your response, it covers part of the things that we say on a daily basis on this table.
And to add to what you have said, you see, this message that we are canvassing is a message that we will not stop, because the man at the bus stop must realize that the road is passing through. The security that is provided while he sleeps comes from somewhere. Resources. Just 2 days ago, I was fortunate enough. I stayed at late till about 2 a.m. And lo and behold, till I got home, I was just meeting police checkpoints. You see them fully armed at every point. And I was not like, so the police are this effective? They will tell, I was the only one in the car. They will say, Oga, put on your inner lights. Oga, come down, come and open your boot. I saw vehicles at 2 a.m. So meanwhile, some people had slept maybe at 8 a.m. They are going to wake at 8 p.m. They are going to wake up maybe 6 a.m. to go to work, or 5 a.m. And such people will say, government is not doing anything. We are not feeling government. Meanwhile, you slept with both eyes closed. Some persons, because they are government agents, are entrusted with the responsibility of security. Yes, we have security challenges, but I must tell you that our security challenges can only be overcome if our people also recognize that the security of the security man is as important as your own personal safety. So when you see something, say something like, when I came in here, I saw you interrogating the issues. Societies that have made progress are societies in which people have spoken up, and people should speak up objectively. I've just told you that yes, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is our president, but he's just one man. He's a mortal. If President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is facing the camera now, he doesn't know what is behind it, because he doesn't have eyes at the back of his head. It is only God that is omniscient and omnipresent that can save. So people must recognize that, look, even though President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is our president, the Constitution limits his roles. He has responsibility that he can perform. He has some roles that the Constitution does not give him the power. The power is domiciled in the state government. There are also some functions that are domiciled in the Constitution. For example, if a road between Agege and Ikeja, if that road is bad now, some persons will say, Tinubu has not. Meanwhile, that road does not fall under
Federal
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So we must continue to make our people understand, we are hungry, things are not. Yes. But the state you are today, if some steps have not been taken, if you remember in Venezuela and Cuba, they were rationing food. Maybe today in those countries, if you go to the market, if you go to buy food today,
Sorry, we have a
okay,
call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from the platform.
From where?
Iba.
Iba. What's your name, sir?
Under Ojo.
What's your name?
My name is Richard.
Okay, please go ahead and make your contribution.
For this matter is that people are trying, but our people under, most of them don't know their work. Especially for these people who are packing the we are paying compulsion every month for 1,000 each room. But almost 7 months now, we didn't give them our side. And the water, most of us, water out. People are getting sick. Because all this mala they are carrying, they didn't allow them to pass again.
Okay.
So may I help us stop for what the law affect?
Okay. Thank you very much for your contribution. Everybody has their different. I'll tell you what she said. So he's complaining about Loma, that they pay for the service, they don't get the service. So people have their different complaints.
Yes,
Some people is food. For them, it is Loma
Loma
coming to clear the
environment,
debt.
yeah.
But even on this table, we have often said it. We are complaining about the federal government. Is it the federal government that threw the nylons into the canals? No. So we also have a role to play. But when we talk about power, sir, power, we had a minister for power. First of all, in my opinion, I think he was a square plug in a round hole. That was not his area of core competence. And sometimes, yes, you say, okay, he would learn the ropes. You see, but not in a situation where there is a dire need for perfection. I don't know if you get my point, sir. Okay, and I'm not. Let me put that aside. That may not be important right now.
No,
But this man, leaves this position, goes ahead to contest for the governorship position.
yeah.
No accountability whatsoever. He is the same man who brought classism into power. Band A, Band B, Band C. Are we not all Nigerians? Why should that obtain?
Okay.
And still, we don't have power.
Okay, my sister.
There are a lot of issues, sir.
If you want to talk about power,
Yes, sir.
as I'm sitting down here, I'm not an expert in energy matters,
True.
but I have an understanding of what energy entails.
True.
All over the world, power is very, very expensive. In 2025, over 200,000 companies closed down in Germany because of the cost of power. That is an industrialized country. Today in Nigeria, why we are having epileptic power supply is because we don't have the liquidity. It's just like powering your home. Some areas, the transformer that has been installed in 1960
It's still there.
It's
is still
there.
the one they are managing. You recognize that. You talked about the minister. The minister does not generate power. In 2012, former President Goodluck Jonathan privatized the electricity. Today, the federal government has made the law that states and local governments
Yeah.
can generate
Can
and
generate.
distribute.
Yes, I know that.
You see, power, if they say we should pay for power at the market rates, a lot of us will be saying, okay, just give me 2 hours in a day. But because of the fact that government recognizes that all fingers are not equal, and in order not to shortchange the investors, government has now classified into band A, band B. Let me tell you, before band A, band C, this is Lagos, we are in Ikeja. I'm aware the residents of DRA Ikeja approached Ikeja Disco. that, look, we want 24 hours electricity. That was before the classification. Ikeja Disco now told them that, look, we buy this electricity. If you want it 24 hours, this is the amount we will be charging you. And the residents agreed to pay. That was why they were the first group that started enjoying 24 hours electricity from the. So the band B, band C, the government is also subsidizing it too. Don't forget. You also remember that when this government came in, there was a 4 trillion naira debt that the federal government was owing these schools. And when they came up with that debt, Mr. President now told them that the federal government was going to pay, but they are going to audit that debt. And I'm sure you remember that when that debt was audited, they realized it was just 3.3 trillion. So, power is not something you think you can just manufacture. It's just like a whole. If you have I had a business at a point in time that I bought a generator to augment public power supply. Immediately I started that business, I recognized that a time will come that generator will not be able to perform optimally. I immediately bought a spare a backup. So is this today we are generating close to 8,000 megawatts, but the facility to feed it into the national grid, the capacity of the national grid is just about 5,000. So we need to invest more into our electricity industry. All our equipments are obsolete, they are outdated. We are lacking infrastructure, and those infrastructure cost money. And government, because government recognizing that they alone cannot do it, that's why they have brought in the private investors that come and invest in this industry, make your money. Those that can afford, you put them on band A. Those that cannot afford that price of band A, you put them on band B or band C or band D.
Hello? Anyway, sir, I would like to respond to you
Okay.
by saying that I understand and I know that power is expensive. But the government sat down within themselves and said, we're starting band A, band B, band C.
Yes.
Nigerians were zoned, were categorized.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Communities.
Well, communities.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, you give them bills to pay. They have not said they are not paying the bills. But you have not kept your own part of the bargain. You said if you are on band A, this is how many hours you'll be getting supply.
Yes.
If you're on band D, this is how many per hours you'll be getting supply.
Yes.
But all of that has come to naught as we speak. I live in Ogun State, unfortunately for me, where we depend on Ikeja Electric. Our power supply is so epileptic, sir. As in, we may not have light at all for weeks. And when we're lucky, we may have one day on, one day on, one night, one morning. Night and morning light may come for maybe, if we are lucky, 6 hours. When we're not lucky, 1 hour, 30 minutes, and they've given you for the day. It's not funny, and honestly, it makes living more difficult. So we cannot trivialize this thing because it is important that we have power. We speak about the national grid. Who's supposed to be ensuring that our national grid is up and running? Who is supposed to be ensuring that our refineries are doing well? An individual has now come and put up a successful refinery, and yet our public offices want to start to dictate the pace. Excuse me. So certain things, sir, it is not all rosy, it is not all right at the federal level. So when we criticize some of these things, it's because there are things that we are seeing are not right. We looked at the newspaper this month, the first thing we read, federal government is budgeting 1 trillion for empowerment and SUVs. Now look at the situation right now, sir. Some person is saying he doesn't have feet. Others are saying they don't have shoes to wear. That is the situation that we speak about. So there's a lot. We cannot take the federal government out of this and say, oh, because we have the state and local governments, so we should take it away from. There are certain things that the federal government are not doing right, and they should be doing right. Should be priority for them.
Okay. Well, the issue about power, like I said earlier on, there's an agency of government responsible for monitoring and enforcement of the law, and that is the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. If you are on band B, band C, and you are not getting adequate power supply, it is for you to lodge your complaints. Don't forget, those interests are business, entirely business entities. And you know business entities will always look for where they will make profits. A lot of those places you are talking about, you talked about Ogun State. I still know of some places in Ogun State today, within the info axis, where the power the power they consume, they have put the consumers on a flat rate. And that has brought about a lot of corruption in the system. Because the electricity, the different companies also buy electricity from the gencos. And it is what they buy that they will sell. If they know, if they buy 30,000, that they will not make maybe 30,000 naira gain, they will not give you. They will rather prefer those that they know will pay that money and they will get the. So there's a lot of problems in our electricity industry, our public power supply. That is why I said the ministry is just an overseer. The ministry does not generate electricity. The ministry is to fashion out policies, programs. The electricity industry has been privatized. So when a lot of people were lambasting the then Minister of Power, I said, if you understand, if you take your time to sit down, to be educated, you will keep quiet. We have communities today, we are talking about government budgeting, whether 1 trillion naira or 1 billion naira. We have communities today in Nigeria that the only way you can get to such communities is by four-wheel drive. So if they say they want to do empowerment, so you think the empowerment should be for only you living in the cities? Those Nigerians living in those environments do not matter. No. What we should be acting on is that if the government has made a budget for any project, we should investigate it and see that it is carried out to a logical conclusion to the benefit of the people. If they are buying SUVs for purposes. There are parts of this country today that from the state capital to get to those local government, you spend 7 to 8 hours on very bad roads. So, and those citizens living there, they are Nigerians. Whatever benefits you are getting in the city, they also have a right to get it as well. Because we can't say, oh, because you are living in the city, so you have two heads. Because they are living in the rural area. Don't be surprised that most of them, even in the rural areas, they are the ones feeding us. It is what they produce that we eat. So they are as important as anybody. So if they are buying SUV, what are they buying the SUV for? Are they buying the SUV because they want to be taking it to Owambe parties? Or they are buying the SUVs because it becomes an utility vehicle for them to be able to spread the message? It could be that the government wants to carry out immunization exercise. There are children in those areas. They must also be accessed that medical facility. And maybe the only way for now that the government can assess them is through them, even though we recognize that the government at all levels have responsibilities for fixing roads and what have you. Because we have Trump A roads that is under the purview of the federal government. We have Trump B roads that is under the purview of state governments. And we have Trump C roads that is under the purview of local governments. So, when government makes a budget, people tend to just look at the figures. You should interrogate what are the attachments, what are the contents. When President Muhammadu Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari administration started the social welfare program, and they were giving people 5,000 naira and what have you.
1 second, let's take this call because we'll be rounding up with you soon. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Well, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Baba. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, go ahead. You want to?
I just wanted to make your guest over there said something about SUVs and bad roads, and I just wanted to know, are they buying the SUVs for people living in the community to use, or are they supposed to use the money to fix the road? That's just I just wanted to get clarified.
Thank you for that question. I'll let you know. So, making two. Okay. So I told you the first one, Loma. I said it was Loma.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, but this man is asking that if you say they're buying for people who may have bad roads, that Should they be buying it for? Should they be buying the SUVs or should they be fixing the roads?
No, you see, government is an octopus. Government's responsibility does not stop with one activity. As they are fixing the roads, they must get to those people. Government must carry out. That's why when I was listening to you this morning, you talked about key ministries. Every ministry is important. Every ministry has a role to play in people's lives. Only that some ministries have particular functions that touches the people faster, that has greater impact. But there is no even Ministry of Foreign Affairs that we are talking. You want to say it is not a key ministry, but it is responsible for managing Nigerian affairs as well as the interests of Nigerians outside our country. At least you saw what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs played in the life of those Nigerians who came under Afrophobic attack in South Africa. People whose life were in danger. We do not say such a ministry it's not a key ministry. So the person that has that, as much as government is fixing that road, it does not stop government from carrying out its functions to Nigerian citizens living in that region.
Okay. Can you round up, please?
Yeah, well, I'm more particular about the conversation around the election because I know that he's a good governance advocate. And in all of this, the election cycle gives us an opportunity to make choices. And that's the choice that we have to make. 173 days from now, Nigerians will go to the poll to choose who presides over them or who makes laws at the green or the red chamber. And I hope that those decisions will be made from an informed point of view, avoid of all our religious, tribal, or just political party correctness point of view. So I think I would like to put it off from there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I'm sure that as we build up to the election, we'll have more conversation that will require you joining us on the show. So we're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right now we'll take another break and we will return. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. And yes, we have another guest on the program. Well, I'd like to say to you, that we were supposed to be joined this morning by the Lagos Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps Commander Kainde Hamzat. But she's not here, but she is ably represented by Deputy Corps Commander Operations, FRSC, Lagos Command, DCC Emma Fekoya. Well, she's here on the table. Now, don't forget that last week, we had issues because Okpe couldn't come to work. And the reason was because there was a serious accident on the Kara Bridge. Not only that, Okpe was bruised on his right thigh, and well over the weekend, Okpe was really not functional. But thank God he's here today. Now, if you cast your mind back, if you were on the program when we started this morning, we commended the Federal Road Safety Corps. And, if you listen to the reports last week, you'd realize that Okwe kept saying, because I said, who are the people on ground? He was running a live commentary, and he said, the Ogun State have not showed up. And I said, I was not expecting them to show up. When I come here and I talk about Ogun State, all of the time, it's like I have a personal vendetta. No, I don't. But I'm saying, listen, when you decide to take up a leadership mantle, make sure you're doing it well. And Okwe said, the road safety is here, and they're doing a fantastic job. So I am delighted that we have as our guest this morning, DCC Emma Fekoya. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you
In
very
fact,
much.
looking at you already, makes me know that there's some seriousness about the person, talk less of about the job that they do. So I'm just going to let Okwe take the first shot. Okwe?
Well, amazing. I was really a bit excited when I saw that we'd have someone come talk to us about roads in this country and safety, most importantly. So once again, it's a pleasure to have you join us on the show.
Thank you very much.
For for God knows when, there's always been a constant problem from either secretariats into Otedola, into that Kara axis. If there's no accident on that bridge, the rail guards are messed up. Talk to us at the moment, the state of the Nigerian roads, and why do we constantly have these accidents? Sometimes they say it's the state of the road, sometimes they say it's the recklessness of the road users. Help us open that circle of that. As someone that has been on this job for so many years, why do we keep having these issues?
Okay, thank you very much. We all know that there are three major factors for the cause of crashes: the human factor, the environmental, and the mechanical factor. The human factor takes about 80%. But however, for the mechanical factor and the environmental factor, it still lies majorly on the human factor. Let's take, for example, if the vehicle isn't good, it's the decision of the driver to ensure they fix the vehicle, and if it's not possible, they drop the vehicle. But what do? We manage it. So it goes back to the human factor. Environmental factor. Okay, the roads are bad, it's raining, something about the weather, whatever. Now, it's expected if it's raining, I should take caution. But I won't. It's expected that the road is bad. I should also take caution. I won't. So it's all going back to the human factor. And under the human factor, we have what I always say, the attitudinal problem. Ignorance and attitude. Yes, I'm not knowledgeable. It's a human factor. Attitude, I know, but I beg, forget it. So that is just the issue that we have. Ignorance, attitude of the people, the road users. That's basically it.
Okay, I'll come take an account of what happened on Friday. But before we even go into that, there's been concern around enforcement, especially in terms of professionalism of the enforcing agents on the road. These days, people make use of their phones while they're driving. These days, people drive around without a caution, without seatbelt, without side mirror, without all of these things. Is it that there's no willpower to enforce those things, or there's just not enough motivation to do it? Because I mean, those days, every vehicle, somebody is belting up that time. But these days, you see somebody making a call, and then an accident would happen, and then this person is blaming a road user. Meanwhile, you're the one that was not, concentrating. Is this that we don't have enough officials that can enforce this law, or there's just the anyhowness of this country is just rubbing off on everybody, whether you're an official or you're even a commuter?
Okay, thank you very much. I would say that enforcement is ongoing. We can't overemphasize our enforcement, but we can't be everywhere. That's basically it. If you go to our offices all cut across in the states, you will see vehicles impounded for the various offenses. But because you can't arrest everyone at the same time, so the people you arrest today will be different from the people you arrest tomorrow. But, well, like I said, attitude is just the Nigerian factor. Okay, someone drove into our compound the other day and wasn't making use of his seatbelt. And I stopped him, I said, for goodness sake, you are in the terrain and you cannot. And he was making, sorry, no, I parked before and they told me to move and I said, seatbelt, another arrest, which still boils down to attitude.
Okay, I would like to ask a question as to, the efficiency of the now Federal Road Safety Corps. When they started at first, we had Professor Wole Soyinka at the helm of affairs, and for Lagosians, I don't know about Nigerians because I was in Lagos State. For Lagosians, it was the fear of road safety is the beginning of wisdom. Along the line, somewhere along the line, how it happened, I don't know. It was kind of watered down, just like everybody. I always say that, sometimes you go with the flow, even when you should not. So we started to see some road safety officer. Okay, so let me speak for myself. I have seen some federal road safety officers in the past put on slippers. I have seen some road safety officers stop vehicles, tell them, okay, this happened to me. They told me that my brake lights were not working because they knew I was female. Where they stopped me, I was not going to come down to actually find out if my brake lights were working or not. And they were going to penalize me, for my brake light not working. First of all, I can't see my back. My driver drives my car most of the time, but that day I was driving my car. And you told me that my brake lights were not working. So when I eventually, I don't know what happened, and they asked me for every other thing. I had every other thing. They didn't book me. They let me go. And, when I got to safety, I stepped on my brakes. I asked somebody to check my lights for me. My brake lights were working, for crying out loud, and have been working ever since then to now. That's on the one hand. So, of course, I could have been, fined for something that I was not guilty of. And I think the reason why I was let go was one of the officers recognized me and said, oh, she could go. So that's on the other hand. And the third thing is sometimes I see these officers collect money. Road safety never used to bend the rules, but everything has been watered down. What are you doing to ensure, that the standard that they started off with will continue?
Thank you, madam.
We always have bad eggs anyway.
Let me start from the third one. Number one, we don't encourage bribe. Now, I'll also want to speak on this. Who gives the bribe?
The people.
The people.
Because you're only concentrating on who receives it. If you stop giving bribe, heaven will not fall.
True.
So we shouldn't just put the blame game one-sided. Let's take it on the two sides.
I'm not even blaming anybody right now. I'm just saying these are the things that I see happen.
Yes. So if you don't give, whatever offense or fine you need to pay, you go for it, take responsibility. And then that also will stop bribery. Then for the second one, you said they assume we are not biased. You said because you were female, maybe that was why they stopped you or something.
No. That's not why they stopped me.
Because you mentioned it, maybe because you were,
I'm female,
yes.
I won't know where we were. I wouldn't dare have come down to check my brake lights.
Okay.
I wouldn't have.
Because of the environment or what?
Yes, where we were.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but it was uniform men that were speaking to you.
No.
Then. However,
they were not
maybe
armed.
because of the way the country is anyway, the nation is.
Yes.
But speaking on that, do you understand that we don't, well, I don't want to believe it because I'm hearing this for the first time, that anyone will frame an offense on someone. Okay, if it's true, for brake light, don't forget, we've had to arrest somebody for brake lights, and then he said, but the thing worked when I left the house. But at the point of arrest, it wasn't working. So how do you explain that?
You know what the man said? He said, press the brake. I pressed it. He said, press the brake. I pressed it. He said, I kept pressing that brake. I moved
and
like...
maybe it was going on and off, touching. You know, sometimes there's a contact
issue. He said
issue.
it was not working. Ma, I moved, like we moved from, within the same space, you have safe areas and unsafe areas.
Yes.
I did not move too far, trust me. This is me it happened to.
Okay.
So this is my observation that I'm bringing to you, that I think you may need to address, if you can.
Okay. No problem.
Because you're like you said, your eyes cannot be everywhere.
Yeah.
So if
So
you
we
have
need
people,
people like you
exactly who
to
you can
report.
trust, yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right,
It's
so
noted.
all right, thank you very much, ma. Over the weekend.
And then, sorry, for the first one, you said wearing slippers. It's unheard of.
I have seen one.
I find it unbelievable, if not that it's coming from you, because we have a high level of
I know
discipline.
that's why
So
for me
it's
it
coming
was so
strange to
strange.
me.
It was at the when you
Complete uniform.
yes
And slippers.
yes. So
Okay.
when you're coming off the third mainland bridge and you're climbing towards Dolphin Estate,
Yes.
there was a team there.
Okay.
There was a team there. One of them. It's been a while.
Okay.
But because I had never seen it happen, and ever since then I haven't seen it happen. But it was so strange to me.
And that's why we are all to help ourselves to ensure that we maintain the highest level of discipline.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look into what happened on Friday, and it's not a one-off. It's happened over and over again.
Happens all the
two
time.
crashes, just a few hours, away from each other. For the people that were caught in that madness, I was heavily caught in that madness, and believe me, it wasn't a very pleasant experience at all. Can you walk us through what happened on that Friday, and is there something that can be done permanently to that particular axis?
Yes. It's already about to happen, most likely this week.
Amen.
For at about, is it 12:05 or so, there was a crash reported. A vehicle on speed lost control and fell on its side. And fell on someone suspected to be the driver, because most likely it fell on his own side and the person was under. So suspected to be the driver, except otherwise proven. And we alerted and we went there. The vehicles that were stopped because of that crash were waiting for passage when another vehicle, as we were told, failed brake and rammed into those vehicles. While on that rescue, somebody on the other side, inward Lagos, probably he was carried away. You know, we have a lot of journalists, when crashes happen, they want to know what actually happened, and there'll be another thing again.
Untrained journalists.
I'm sure he was carried away by what he was watching, and then all of a sudden he realized that there was a vehicle, slamming on his brakes, brake failed, and rammed into that vehicle. That was cleared too. So we had to battle with this other one, that the road was completely shut down. If you notice, before it was both sides of the, both outward Lagos, inward Lagos, that used to have crashes. But if you notice, most times now it's outward Lagos, because majorly what causes it is expansion joints. And incoming Lagos, it has been fixed, so it's smooth.
Yes.
Going out of Lagos, if you are on speed and you hit that expansion joint, it's
My tire has
likely you
burst
will lose
on that
control.
particular one. Yeah, true.
And so that is what has been happening. And it will shock you, on Saturday at 11 p.m. too, again. Another one happened. And I heard it was a truck that had biscuits. Half of the biscuits went down off the bridge. And that was another rescue conducted. Thank God we finished up before daylight. So that's why that would have been another, yes. So, however, the Federal Ministry of Works have been notified on the urgency to work on that road. And I spoke with my boss about it, and we are expecting anytime soon there'll be an announcement of the bridge being fixed. But however, and this is what has been delaying it, that the ripple effects on negotiations. There's no pain without gain. The pain of being delayed is better than the pain of losing lives and properties.
And for me, Okwe, this may not really concern our officer, directly. But for me, I don't know why the Ministry of Works has to be informed. Because they know. And these are some of the things that I criticize on the table. They know clearly that there is a problem with the expansion joints on this road. When they were doing the inward Lagos, they saw that that thing was there. Okay, I don't know if you understand my point. They saw it clearly, but they decided to do one part of it and leave the other part. And that's the point. That's what we talk about on this program. I mean, it is not acceptable. Lives do not have to be lost back to back to back to back to back for you to know that these things need to be fixed. It is very disappointing. And the problem is that who owns the land? Is it Papa's land? Is it Lagos or is it Ogun? I know it's a federal road, you understand? But somebody will escalate it. Somebody will take the lead.
You know, I'm even
I
excited.
don't want to interrupt you,
Yes.
but however, they can't do the two at the same time.
No, I'm not saying at the same time. I'm not saying at the same time. But I'm saying that they knew that it was there. So, do you know when they finished doing that, the inward Lagos expansion? It's been a while.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. And I also want to say that I felt the pain of getting stuck in that traffic.
Yeah, because we
I
both
spent
live in that
hours
axis.
But my major concern, ma, and I'm sure, I hope that something could be done. Whenever there is going to be any major maintenance
Repairs.
job on that bridge, it's always hell when it
Untold
comes to
hardship.
traffic.
Yep.
Could there be the possibility of an alternative route? Because this is a major road that comes in and out of Lagos. This is practically what connects the southwest with the entire world from that axis. It could something be done, because I know that once that work, that joint that you said, that renovation means that it could take months or maybe weeks if we are lucky and the speed of work is. And I know that it's something that has to be done professionally. But you will not say because we want to rush it and then just do hours jobs. Is there something that could be done? And for people that use that road every day, that are hoping that another Kara headline will happen, what would you say to those people?
Okay, for me, once they're about to carry out the maintenance work or repairs, I want to believe for sure the public will be notified. And the public being notified is you need to reschedule your movements. And we have other corridors that could be used. The Ikorodu corridor, the Lekki corridor, the Ekpe corridor, Lekki Ekpe corridor,
Even
the
in
Shagamu. Yes, so those are alternative routes to be used for those periods. But however, whether you like it or not, some people would rather go through that same route, whichever way to get to their destination.
May
So
I just quickly add to what? Yeah, I know there's a second.
What advice would you give people that are constantly using that road?
That's why I say reschedule your program. Reschedule it in whatever way. If you are taking your vehicle, stay off it. Go by public transport. That will help. Or if you must take your vehicle, use the alternative route. That's just the choice. There's nothing about it for now.
Talking about alternative routes, we have these untarred roads running parallel to the main road. You know, I don't know if you know what's this popular company, Mikano. Mikano on the one side, and then the one that leads to Kara, where they sell, on the other side. I would have thought, and this may not be your question, or it may not be your tough to handle, but I would have thought that the federal government would make life easier for people who live in those areas, you know, by fixing these roads as alternative routes, you know, to getting to where they're going. I believe that it could solve part of the problem, and I think they should concentrate on that first before doing the expansion joint, so that people will have other roads to pass.
You never can tell. Maybe they will do just what you're saying.
I hope so. Well, we may. Well, right now, I think I'd like to call out Mrs. Engineer Keisha, you know, who has been on the program a couple of times and who understands where I'm coming from and exactly what I'm saying. Perhaps you want to look at, you know, fixing these alternate alternative roads so that, you'll make life easier for people like us?
All right, we will have to wrap up the conversation right now, but we're moving towards the very critical part of the year, the Ember months. And for some weird reason, whether it's myths that have become a reality, on records that more accidents often happen at this time of the year, from September, October, November, December, the festivals and all of that. What would you advise people around this time? I know that there could be cases of wanting to level up, go to Jebu, come back quickly, the community drivers and all of that. But what advice in terms of maintaining road safety, in terms of understanding that you that are driving, you are almost the only sane person that is on the road. You don't know the state of mind of other people. What advice should you give to Nigerians that will be traveling across the federation, especially as we move into the Ember month, where by whatever way, accidents often occur more during those times?
We keep advising them, we keep speaking, we keep talking, we visit parks. What we only want to emphasize now that there will be more of enforcement. Because we've gotten to a point that when you keep talking without the required action, you still keep getting the same results. So, though we've always been having pre-trips, you go to parks and check their vehicles before they take their leaves. Something just crossed my mind now. The issue of speed limiting device. We've been enforcing it so that, because most crashes, the fatality is as a result of the speed. Now, we are enforcing speed limiting device to ensure that all commercial vehicles fix it. But you will be surprised that after fixing, some people will remove it.
They want to fire down.
There was a vehicle we arrested the other day, and the owner came. He said, how could they tell him that he doesn't have a speed limiting device? He fixed it himself. And he came and went straight to the vehicle. Lo and behold, it was already disconnected. And he was shocked, because to him, he felt we just manufactured that offense. But lo and behold. So what I would advise everyone, every road user, because there are some advices that Nigerians will not take heed. And that is the peculiarity of ourselves, our nature. At the end of the year, we plan our leaves and everything. Most companies are shut down at the end of the year. And so we meet at home. So most times, the vehicular movement on the road is heavy, because all of us have agreed
that this December
we are going home. It's a meeting time for families and everything. So you cannot rule that out, because that's the choice or how they have found themselves. Now, what do you do when you have such issues? Is to ensure visibility, is to ensure more meetings with the union members of these vehicles, which is what we are doing right now. By the time we have a hold of every union of these vehicles, either trucks or whatever, you have a better control. If you have any report of your vehicle crashing, you are prosecuting you straight. So once the signals are sent and they are seeing it already happening, it takes caution waiting for the Ember month. But I'm sure that this Ember month, by God's grace, will be a smooth journey for all of us.
Amen.
Okay, before we round up, there's one question I really desperately want to ask. When the members of the Federal Road Safety Corps stop people and say, your number plate is fading, in my opinion, I think it's totally unfair, because we have done what we're supposed to do. Now, this is not for me, but I'm feeling the pain of the Nigerian. We have done what we're supposed to do. We have purchased a tag for our cars. The manufacturers have decided to use, for whatever reason, substandard, material, because if it was not substandard, it would not be fading. Why should that be my problem? This is a question I have often wanted to ask. Why should I be penalized because my number plate is fading? I didn't make the number plate in the first place. Why are they not focusing on the manufacturers of the number plate to say, you know what, you are cheating Nigerians, because if I have to go and spend money again for a number plate that I already have for my car, I don't know how that sounds.
Okay, now, as a typical Nigerian, permit me to answer your question with a question. Now, this beautiful dress you're wearing, why would you use bleach to wash it? You're not expected to use bleach. You know the work of bleach.
No, I'm not going to use bleach to wash it.
But sometimes you decide that, maybe you wore it somewhere and it really got dirty and you want to remove that stain.
disinfect it or
and
something.
then you now decide to use bleach, thinking that it will only remove that particular dirt from it. And you discover the dress is completely mad. What do? You still wear it?
I won't. I'll answer your question honestly because I'm an honest person. I won't wear it, but in the first place, I won't use bleach for it.
No, just take me there. What you won't wear? What will you do? You get something else.
Yes, I'll get something else.
Going back to the question, your number plate has faded. You are supposed to go back and get another one, because you are working on the assumption that is substandard product. I don't print. I'm not there to know, but I want to believe no one will use substandard products to do what is. That's for my own belief. So whatever, you're not supposed to use soap, bleach, all those hard chemicals on the number plates. But that's what people do. And if it fades, go back and get another one.
Sapma, I would like to take you up on this one. I have never for once used any form of detergent to wash my car. None.
Are you sure? Are you always the one washing it?
My drivers never, ever. I'm always, most of the time, I'm there. We wash my cars in my house. We don't go to car wash.
And how long did the number plate serve you?
Well, I've had a car that the number plate faded.
For how long?
I can't remember that. We never use bleach. I don't use the detergent because of the paint. No.
Okay. But whichever, for whatever reason, you go back and get a reprint. That's basically, so we'll solve, or we find out what is actually the problem.
Well, I think we should face the people who print the number plates.
So,
It's really not your fault.
let's
Okay, let me land, please.
Okay,
You're always cutting me in.
Go on.
Yeah, so I think what we should do is face the manufacturers of the number plates.
Okay.
I think we should do that. And that will help everybody because honestly, it is not right. It is not fair on Nigerians. So.
Okay, so now, I'm more concerned about synergies now.
Yeah.
There are state traffic agencies, especially when it comes to federal road. A lot of people have questioned the response sequence of Ogun State government, and I'm not going to lie, it's something I've always complained about. That time, especially on this car bridge, an accident would happen, and for days, the truck there will just be kept on one side. There are times that you see dead bodies on the bridge, and then you call them, and it could take days for them to come pick it up. What is the synergy like between the state safety agencies and the Federal Road Safety Corps? I know that there's last mile in Lagos. There is the State Emergency Management Agency as well, the LASEMA. There are, even Ogun State. I think Ogun State is Trace or something.
Yes, Trace.
What is the level of synergy that you have? Because I know that I gave special credit to you on Friday because I saw your trucks, I saw the mobilization, I saw the the stress of moving the tow trucks in there. So, but what happens to the other states, the state agencies? Is there some form of synergy between you being the federal and the state agencies?
There is a synergy. But you are seeing us feature more because we're really taking ownership of the Kara Bridge. The Kara Bridge is for Ogun State.
Yeah.
But whatever happens that will affect Lagos, we move. We move. That's the most important thing. That we are there to intervene in whatever happens.
Okwe, before you called on that day, when I heard there was an accident on Kara Bridge, I called on the Lagos State Governor to please, even though I know that it is Ogun State. That was before you called at all. I said, because I'm not even going to be looking to pleading with the Ogun State Governor, because as far as I'm concerned, the man has not delivered, and I say it all the time. So I was looking to the Lagos State governor to see how he could save us from that issue that we had on that day. And then your call, I called you later, and then you were just confirming exactly what I had said on air. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that, you see, thank God that we have a working governor in Lagos State. And thank God, that there is, they're working in synergy with the state. The Federal Road Safety Corps is working in synergy with Lagos State because they are under the Lagos, am I right? You're under the Lagos State, what do you call it, unit?
Since we're staying, yes, sector command, Lagos State sector
command. And that's why we can see that efficiency because Ogun State also has FRSC. I hope you know that.
Yes, and we also have a corridor commander.
Okay.
That takes care of that corridor.
Okay.
And that's just where I'm going to end. I'm not going to say more than that.
Okay, people often talk about getting in touch, getting in contact. People always talk about sometimes when
emergency
we call
lines,
emergency responses. It's not always sometimes responded to. What is the fastest way to reach you in case there are issues that need to be escalated as quick as possible? What is the fastest way? Are there designated numbers? Are there toll-free calls you can use to reach you to make official complaints when we notice one?
Yes, 112. You call free toll, and then we'll respond. And they've been calling me.
112 is the number to call. Toll free.
For even issues, other issues that you think you need help on. Your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere, you need help. Call. And call the appropriate command nearest to you. Yes.
And you will not be penalized because what I see is that I see eager officers, and I'm not talking about FRCN, to come and clamp down on you when your car breaks down. When a man is helpless, why do we want to put him in the ground? In Nigeria, that's the problem. Why do we want to put him in the ground? And I'm glad to hear this. 112. Don't worry, tomorrow we'll type it and put it on the screen. 112 is a toll-free line that you can call even if your car breaks down. And the road safety will be there to keep you safe. I think that's the much we can take on the program this morning. And how do I thank you for being our guest on the program? Just in case you joined us halfway, I'd like to let you know that our guest on the program is a Deputy Corps Commander Operations, FRSC, DCC Emma Fekoya. Emma Fekoya. Thank you so much for being our guest on the program.
Thank you very much.
And we're looking forward to having more of you on the program, more of the road safety on the program, more of your presence on the program to enlighten people, to inform them, and to educate them. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And don't forget, it's a toll-free line, 112. She has given us the assurance that no matter how unsafe you think you are, dial up that digit that somebody will pick it up and respond to you immediately. Thank you. I think that is a big take-home for me on the show today. The fact that I get assured that anytime there's a problem, and please don't call to ask where you can buy pure water. See, Nigerians have a very funny
that is the problem. They abuse every opportunity.
It's a criminal offense when you do that because probably somebody is in danger. The person is needing to call at the same time that you're calling that. Please, where can I buy a car?
We've been sent on a lot of wild goose chase. There's a crash and you get there, there's nothing.
So we need to stop that. Even on a program, we get such calls, don't we? We get some very, very silly calls, mischievous calls. And Nigerians need to stop that because if we keep crying wolf when the wolf is not around, when the wolf actually comes, nobody's going to listen to you. On that note, we'll round up the program today. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, you want to say your goodbyes?
Yes, it's a Monday, the start of a new week, and we'll continue to build up to conversations that will lead us into the 2027 general election. 173 days away from the presidential and the National Assembly election, and it's time for us to start thinking of what could help us to form our political decisions. Let's do away with our tribal sentiment or religious sentiment. And let's stick with competence, capability, and the ability to deliver good governance to the people. Thank you. My name is Opeyemi Akende. Bright and early tomorrow, God willing, I should be back on this show.
Thank you, Akwemi. And, from me, unfortunately, we're not able to do the newspaper review thoroughly. But having said that, it was a loaded package today. Well, I urge you to, join us tomorrow for another edition of the program. But before I go, as I usually say, I would, urge you also, to stand in front of a mirror, take a look at yourself, inward, and outward. And is there anything you find that you need to change? I would appreciate if you change it ASAP so that the world will be a better place. My name is So Aderile. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderful day and God bless you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much for
so much
joining
to our
us.
guests.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.